The Story of Madel and Izzy by Anne Bohannon. For hundreds of years, wild horses have roamed many parts of the United States and other parts of the world. Within the state of Oregon, wild horses called Kiger Mustangs have lived in protection since 1971, when the Wild Free Roaming Horse and Bureau Act was passed by Congress to protect all wild horses and burros on public lands. To help in managing the growing population of these wild horses, roundups or gatherings take place regularly. During these roundups or gatherings, a herd of wild horses are captured and put up for sale or auction. This is a very difficult transition for these wild horses to make. Many of them have a very difficult time adjusting to the life of a domesticated horse, and some of them never get over the life they had in the wild. In 2008, Madel, a Kiger Mustang mare in Oregon, was captured and sold at an auction to a caring woman named Tommy. When Tommy saw Madel at the auction, she fell in love instantly. Soon after buying Madel, Tommy began the process of starting her using a natural horsemanship philosophy. Using this philosophy, Tommy and other horsemanship professionals began working with Madel to get her used to being handled using methods that incorporate compassion and patience. This philosophy is greatly based on building trust between the horse and human, and not using unnecessary forceful or abusive means to train a horse to be handled and ridden. While undergoing the process of being started, Tommy found out some surprising news about Madel. After being checked over by a veterinarian, Tommy discovered that Madel was pregnant. Although this was shocking to hear, Tommy was very excited to soon be the proud owner of 2 Kiger Mustangs. Because of this news, Madel's training took a slight change and Tommy began focusing more on handling her, which comprised of haltering, leading, grooming, and basic groundwork. Even though this news put a halt to some of the more intensive training, it allowed Tommy the opportunity to begin to deeply bond with Madel by just working on the basics of horsemanship. With this, Tommy and Madel began to build a relationship and companionship that would last for years to come. After 11 months, Madel finally had her baby. Both Tommy and Madel were very happy to welcome this new beautiful filly into the world. Madel soon adjusted to becoming a mother and was a very loving and protecting caregiver of the filly. After only a short while, Tommy decided to name the filly Izzy because of her sweet and quirky personality. After Izzy began to grow, Tommy quickly began handling and working with her on a daily basis. She introduced her to the halter, leading, and other basic groundwork exercises. Izzy was starting to make great progress with her training, but Tommy knew that she would soon have to start working with Madel again more intensely. When Tommy began working with Madel again, she soon realized that Madel would be a lot to handle. It was not surprising though for Tommy or anyone else who handled her. She was a wild horse, and training a wild horse is one of the hardest things to do. Because of this, Tommy had to involve several other natural horsemanship professionals in her training. Tommy entered Madel in several clinics and worked for several years on Madel's training to help her become a safe and trusting horse to handle and ride. After time had passed, Madel became an incredible horse with an incredible story. Tommy began trail riding and camping with Madel. She also began using her for kids' lessons and riding programs. Madel had truly come a long way. When Izzy was 4 years old, Tommy began more intensive training with her. Fortunately, Izzy was much easier to handle and train because she had always lived as a domesticated horse. Tommy took her in several clinics where she made great progress and caught the attention of many other great horsemanship riders. About 1.5 years ago, Tommy moved Izzy and Madel to Carousel Ranch, a beautiful ranch in Woodinville, Washington, where I currently teach horseback riding lessons. Tommy and I clicked from the moment we met because of our similar beliefs in working with horses, and also because of the amazing story of Madel and Izzy. I now regularly work with Madel and Izzy and enjoy every moment I spend with these amazing horses. They and Tommy have taught me so much about patience, compassion, and the incredible journey it has been to work with wild Kiger Mustangs.